that are involved in doing the cost optimization. So all these topics are related to money, right? So the tools primarily as a pre-sales architect, they might be using AWS pricing calculator. So this is the very first tool that if you are going to be part of the pre-sales team, you need to be familiar with this tool. Even at times, like the solution architect might have to provide a estimate. See, even though it is a very transparent pricing estimate, mostly we will be able to only provide a rough order of magnitude estimate. The reason is we cannot completely guess how the workload is going to be consumed. Sometimes we might say that it might be 8 GB of what do you call EC2 instance might be sufficient. Maybe later it might be consuming very less 4 GB also. Sometimes it might also consume 16 GB. So we might have to right size it or resize it based on the actual consumption. So as a forecast, you will be able to only provide a rough order of magnitude estimation. We call it as ROM estimate. And if you want to get a actual monthly estimate, you have to at least wait for a month or two so that you know how the monthly costs are spending up for the resources that you have created on the AWS platform. So very first tool, as I told you, AWS pricing calculator gives you a very good strong foundation on how much the bill is going to be. So as an architect, we generally have to first come up with the architecture solution. See, the architecture solution at times might have to change at a later time because of the dynamic requirements. Maybe you might have to add some additional products or additional features that might increase the cost. Okay, maybe in the initial solution, we might not have factored for web application firewall, or we might not have factored for clustering or auto scaling or load balancing. Later, based on the workload usage and stuff, we might go and slightly change the architecture. See, at the end, the core architecture will not change a lot, but we might go and slightly change the services. Maybe AWS might introduce some new product down the line, maybe in 3 months or 6 months, and at that time, maybe that particular offering, that product might be cheaper than what you have initially solution. So there might be some changes based on the new features and products and offering coming in, and also based on the customer business pattern change and requirement changes. So you might have to change the architecture solution, but architecture solution is pretty much needed to estimate the cost. So we can estimate the cost only based on the solution that we can that we have developed. Okay, and see, the cost estimate, it actually have to fit into your unique business and personal need, because each and every region has got different pricing. Each and every product has got different pricing in different regions. So you can start creating an estimate. There is no pricing for this particular tool in using this AWS pricing calculator. There is no commitment, and you can go and just create an estimate based on the architecture solution that you are doing. So first thing, when you want to create a use this pricing calculator, we need to list the services that are going to be used in this solution. Like what are the services like EC2, S3, or ECS, or SNS, or whatever the services that you are going to use. You have to list the services, and then you have to add the services first, and then configure the services, how much resources we are going to use, and then what kind of features we are going to use, the configuration of the resource, like the CPU, memory, and then the instance type. So you have to provide the details of the services to derive the cost. Then finally you will get a estimate, right? And the estimate can be per service. You will get per service. You can also get it as a group. For example, if you want to group them, you can also group them. There is an option in the pricing calculator to group it as per a particular portfolio or a project, or if you want to group it for different environment, you can also group it, or else you can get a total cost if you want. Okay, so all these things are possible in your pricing calculator. So I will show you the step by step example and the scenario that you can follow. See the benefit of using this pricing calculator. This is an online tool, right? So this online tool is openly available for all the customers to consume. So there is no hidden pricing, or there is no different math that are used for different customers. So the pricing is very transparent. That is the biggest advantage, I would say. So across customers, across the persons who are using it. So the mathematics remains the same. So of course, if you are adding the services and if you're getting a estimate, it has to be the same for the other person who is analyzing and getting the estimate. And another thing, you can also share the estimate as an attachment, as a exported report, or you can also send that link unique. You will get a unique link when you generate a estimate within the pricing calculator, and you can also go and click on that link later, and you can update it and you can change it. So these estimates are saved to AWS public server. So when I say AWS public server, only if you have the link and if you are having the credentials, you can go and access that particular report. I mean the estimate. It's not like it will be kept in a server where everyone can go and fetch it. It's not like that. So when you create a estimate, you will get a unique link. If you share that unique link with a particular vendor or a particular customer, they can access it and they can open it, and that is stored on a public repository. Whereas if whoever has got the link can access that particular thing. And you can also generate a report. As I said, you can get a total estimate, or you can also group it by different project, different environment, or if you want to analyze the cost into pieces of architecture, you can also do an hierarchical estimate. So for phase one, what is the price? For phase two, what is the price? Because people might allocate budget on a quarterly basis or on a monthly basis. So if you want to get a hierarchical estimate based on the work breakdown structure, you can also do that. And the estimate, whatever you are doing, right, you can not only share it, you can also export the estimate um, into, if you want to attach it in your PO or in your SOW, you can also get it as a PDF, or you can get it as a Excel file, CSV file, or if you want to get it as a JSON file for future visualization or analysis, then JSON file is much better. So you can get the report in multiple different formats. So I'll show you how this particular pricing calculator work. In order to access this pricing calculator, you have to go to calculator.aws, and then you can you'll get the home screen here, and you can create the estimate on this particular thing. Okay, so the very first step is you have to add the service. Okay, and in order to open this tool, you can go and type calculator.aws on the browser, and it will open up and you can get started. And the second step is configuring the services. Okay, and then the third step is you'll get the estimate. So here, if you want to do a bulk import of different stuff, you can also do a bulk import. If you already have a existing estimate, or if you want to create it from a particular group, you can also do it. I'll come to the grouping portion shortly. So you can create a group here, or you can also add additional support from AWS team and so on. So these are the options that I was talking about. For example, if you want to have phase one estimate, phase two estimate, or if you want to create a group for non-production environment, separate budget, and then production environment, separate estimate, you can create them as a group, and you need not create it as a separate estimate. Within the same estimate, you will have separate group for which you will get a bill, and you will also get a total bill for your entire project or entire portfolio. So here you can get started for this, I mean, using this tool for free. But if you are stuck somewhere, you can also get the support from the AWS sales team, who can help you to derive the estimate as per the architecture that you have derived. So here, if I go to my, just give me a second, I will take some example architecture. Okay, so think this is the screen. Yeah. So you can configure a cost estimate that fits your unique business or personal need. That is fine. And you can see on the right, so this is the kind of view you can see for your EC2 instance, for your EBS volume, and for the data transfer. Yesterday, we were talking about the fundamental cost behind the AWS, right? We were talking about compute, we were talking about storage, we were talking about network data transfer. So these are all the fundamental cost that is going to be available. This is a web-based service, so you are accessing it through the web portal, and if you have proper tagging, proper grouping, so you can easily get a better report. Okay, so I'm just showing you an example report here, so that way you will understand, and we can also go and see how it works. So in this architecture, so there is multiple services that is involved. So you have Amazon Route 53, or you are going to use the internet gateway for the users to come and access the services from the internet, and you also have a load balancer which will balance the load across multiple application systems, and these application systems are part of auto scaling group. And you also have a backend database which is having two databases in two different availability zone, and they have an active replication that is configured. So the reason that these are all important, we need to have some cost for the data transfer. The replication cost is there for databases. So these are the different components that is involved. So when you go and create the same, you have to go and start adding the services into the list here. Okay, so first thing you have to add the internet gateway. You can check if there is a separate option, or you can go to the VPC, which is the parent service, and you can add that specific subsection, right? So for example here, which are the services that you are going to use within the AWS VPC service. Okay, so you can go and find out what are the options here. So if you are not seeing that particular option, then possibly it is not a chargeable service. Okay, you can just go and step back. So here, let me go and search for the next service, Route 53, and the Route 53 service. Okay, you can add that particular service. Okay, you can just go and enter the number of DNS zone that you're going to create. For example, I will just say 202 zones, and then the traffic flow will be 100, maybe number of millions of queries per month, it will be 1 million per month. You can just save and add that service just for an example. And then similarly, you can go and search for the next service, which is elastic load balancing. So elastic load balancing. So this way you can keep adding the services, and you can start selecting which kind of load balancing you are going to use, whether you are going to use ALB or whether you are going to use NLB. So you can just select the specific load balancer type that you are going to use, and you can mention the load balancing compute unit, how much you are going to consume per hour. If it is going to process 2 GB per hour or 1 GB per hour, you can just add it and then add the service. So this way it will continue to add the service into the group. If you scroll down, you can also see that the view summary. On the left, you can see each and every services that you have added, and you can continue to add as many services into the list, and you can get a bill for each and every service for using Route 53 with the specified number of zones and the number of requests. So the bill that you're getting is this much, and for load balancing, so $21 per month. So this is the monthly forecast, and if you are paying something, or if you're going for reservations or savings plan, you can also go and get that services added up. Or if you want to add that support, you can also add that support. Maybe if you want some developer support, or if you want specific business plan support, there are different support plans that are provided by AWS. So based on the environment type, if your environment is just a testing environment, you can just go for basic support plan. And if you want to have some development environment, if you are in a development stage for an application, you can also go and add the developer support plan for that particular portfolio. And if your application is already in business, in production, and if it is mission critical, you can go for enterprise support plan or enterprise on ramp based on the support that you are looking for. And also, if you are expecting a particular response time for your critical tickets, you can also go and select what kind of technical support response time you are expecting. If you are expecting 1 hour or less, automatically the plans will be grayed out. So which are the plans that are going to give you 1 hour response time? So only business, enterprise, and enterprise on ramp will provide you 1 hour technical response support. So it is not resolution, it is response to your ticket, response to your cases. So if you are good for getting a response in 4 hours, then automatically the options will come up, like the developer plan gives you 12 hours response or lesser than that. So it's not like they will wait for 12 hours to respond to your case. Maybe at times you might get response in 15 minutes or 20 minutes. But if you're not getting the response on the agreed SLA, so what you can do is for the enterprise on ramp, enterprise support plans and all, you will get a technical account manager assigned for that particular customer, for that particular account. So that account manager is responsible to attend your call 24/7 and address any support that you need or escalate that particular case to the right team and then get the things moving in the right direction. So similarly for your business support plan also, you will have a pro direct delivery managers or a kind of shift managers who will handle it. Unlike the enterprise plan will get a technical account manager, and on top of the technical account manager you'll have a global account manager. So if your support team is not responding to your case properly, or if you're not getting the right level of support, you can escalate to the technical account manager. If technical account manager is also not helping you out or not available, you can escalate it to the global account manager. So there is a hierarchy that is available for enterprise support. For business support plan, you have this shift managers who will be attending the call as per the shift. Okay, so they are not dedicated to your team. You'll get a phone number to which you can call, make a call, and that in that line you will find a shift manager who is attending it and helping you to get the right teams involved for supporting your cases. So you can get different level of support from AWS team. If you want email support, the plans accordingly will show up. And if you want multiple support associates, or if you want to call them 24/7, then you can go and select what kind of support levels you are expecting, or what kind of um, response time you are expecting. So you can also include that to your estimate, so that way you know what exactly is the pricing for that particular model. Okay, just I'm adding it for your reference. So here you can see even the support service can also be added as a separate stuff. So if you want to group these things into a particular group, you can just select Amazon Route 53 and Elastic Load Balancing, and you can also move it to a particular group. So currently we have not created any group here, but if you want to create a group, you can also do that. You can create a group. You can say this group is for the phase one service, or this is for my non-production, just for an example. Okay, you can create the group as you want to group the services. And here if you want to add particular services into this group, or if you want to go and move some of the stuffs which you already added, you can just select the non-elastic load balancing and the Amazon Route 53 to that particular group. So that way, if you are an architect who need to provide estimates based on the work breakdown structure for the project managers, you can also say that for phase one, phase two, for the environment, non-production environment, this is the budget. For the production, this is the budget for the services. So you can go and create grouping of your estimate for according to your architecture. So here, just for an example, on the same use case. So here, this is how it will look like. So you will get, you'll have to give them the details. So only the application owner or the business owner knows how much will be the utilization of the load balancers or the EC2 instances that you are creating. What is the configuration size that they are looking for? So you have to enter those configuration sizes. So for example, if you are adding the EC2 instances here, you get to know that what are the different instance types that are available. So if you know that this is the specific configuration you have to choose, you can also choose it. Just for an example, T3A X large, something like that, right? You can go and search for that particular instance here. So you can just say T3A, and then you can, it will only show that particular grouping. So if you want to select the T3 extra large or whatever, you can select that. And within that, if you want to select the specific operating system, for example, if you want to use Linux, you can choose Linux. Or if you want to use different flavors of Linux, you can also choose the specific flavor of Linux. Or if you want to use Windows Server with the database, or just plain Windows Server, you can also choose whatever specific stuffs you want. And also if you have some existing licenses, you can also select that you want to bring your own licenses. And if you want to include specific storage for that particular server, you can also mention how much GB of capacity that you're going to have for your operating system or for the data. So you can keep adding the details. And if you want additional support, or if you want to configure reservations or spot instances, you can also go for it. Okay, so if you want to go and get the EC2 savings plan, you can just select it. And if you want to pay something, or if you want to pay all upfront, you can also select that particular plan, and you can add that service here. So based on the specific purchasing model, the rate will differ. So you have to select the appropriate purchasing model as well on this particular stuff. So for EBS volume also, I've added 100 GB, but in this example, they have just added only 30 GB as an estimate. And similarly, for your backups EBS snapshot also, you have to mention how much snapshot it is going to take for that volume. That is something you have to definitely add. Otherwise, there will be a difference in the estimate. You can also mention how much data transfer that is going to happen. That is also something you can call out. How many instances you are going to use in auto scaling is something you can mention. Load balancer, you have to give the LCU, the load balancing compute as 20 GB per hour is what we are estimating. And for your database, you're going to use db.m5.large. This is similar to how you added the EC2. You have to go and select the RDS, and you will get the options to choose the particular type. So this is the overall cost breakdown for that particular architecture, which we have listed here. So for this architecture, this is the cost breakdown, and these are the monthly and annual cost based on the details that we have entered. So similarly, we have got an amount for monthly and annually here, right? So for monthly, for load balancers, you got this thing, $21. So here in this example, it is showing like $87 because they have went ahead and mentioned 20 GB per hour is the processing rate. So whereas we entered pretty much less, I guess. So let me just go and check that. So we have not we have just entered 1 GB. All right, so if I'm entering 20 GB per hour, then of course the pricing will go up to $105. So you can update it anytime. The report could be updated or changed using this link. So once after you do all these things, you have the option to go and export it into a PDF format, or comma separated Excel comma separated value format, or a JSON file format, or also you can share this particular link with the particular organization. So it says like the estimate has been saved, and then this is the public link. The link will be available to be accessed for the next 1 year time, right? So let me just add this to this. So you can also share this report, and this report will be available for the consumption for next 1 year. Okay, so this is how you have to derive the estimate, and this is how you will get a particular overall total monthly cost, and this is what the project managers and the business will be looking from your side. And at the end, the cost estimated tool will also give you the free tier discount if you are just starting with the first time estimation. So it will also include whatever the tier that will be coming as a free tier discount model. Okay, any questions on the pricing calculator? So this is how you have to start. You have to start adding the services first, and then you have to configure the service. Then you can just group them as per the environment or the work breakdown structure, month on month, or quarterly, or like if the project has got different phases, you can add different phases, and at the end you can also share the estimate. Any question on the pricing calculator?
Stalin
Yeah.
Santosh here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we also giving same pattern only,
Mm-hmm.
AWS calculator only for
Mm-hmm.
EC2 instant to
Mm-hmm.
our end users.
Mm-hmm.
You said that right? Public IP also we need to
Yeah,
means purchase like
true.
that. Also we can get from here. Otherwise, we go to the other third party tools like.
No, no. You can also
They,
add that public IP here only. Okay, so let's say Elastic. So within this service, you can go and get the Elastic IP. So here you can select public IP address. And then
okay.
whatever the number of public IP address you want, if you want 2 IP address or 5 IP address, you can just go and select that number of public IP address. Yeah, you can add that as a separate service here. Yes.
Per IP per price, otherwise
Yeah, per
four IP
IP,
only.
let me show you. So per IP, total of 5 IPs, it is $18, right? So per IP, it will be how much? Let me show you that also. Show details or show calculation. If you just come here. It's like okay, let me just go and change it to one IP. So it is 3.65 USD
Okay.
a monthly charge
Mhm.
for one public IP.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is how you can add it. Yeah, you can add. I mean, that is a very good question because earlier in this architecture also I have not factored that. Recently, like February 2024, they have started giving a different separate pricing for the public IP address. Prior to February 2024, the public IP address was not a separate item. So now, after February 2024, they have added it as a separate item. So even in this architecture, you have to factor public IP address. Yes. Okay, so if there are no other questions, we will move on to the next tool, which is AWS Cost Calculator or Cost Explorer rather.